Right now, police are still searching for 3 missing Harrisonville children. There's been no sign of them since Friday night. Investigators believe the children's mother took off with Jordan Jasper and Tabitha Davis. Deputies say the children hadn't seen their mother in about 4 years. And that is when they believe that Sherry Lynn Davis came in and got them. She lost custody of the kids. Right now, their dad is just worried sick. We have missing children's expert, Lieutenant Kelly Bailiff, and she is joining us to talk about this, the trend of parents, kidnapping the children.
It is increasing more and more. Divorce rates are increasing, and therefore blended families are causing conflicts with that left behind parent, as we call them. So the numbers of kids being abducted by their own family members is on the rise, unfortunately.
So I know you can't talk specifically about this case, but in terms of next steps, all we know is apparently she took off with the kids, maybe in a black Mercedes SUV. Now what's happening right now to try and find them?
Well, in any parental abduction case, we have to try to determine, was this a long-term plan that this parent may have come up with, or do they have some sort of imbalance that's caused them to immediately just try to pull something together? So you can't always look at the specific vehicle that they may have taken off in if they had a plan to switch vehicles. Unfortunately, some parents who've been out of the picture for a long period of time may have had some sort of mental illness or some other problems that may have caused them to lose custody in the first place. A lot of people then feel that they are okay to come get their children. They validate that in their minds, and they begin to formulate a plan. Sometimes the plans are very devious, sometimes they're very simple. So it's very hard for law enforcement in order to look into the mind of those parents and try to figure out exactly what type of plan, whether it's organized or not, that they're dealing with. So in this case, it's a very complicated situation for those officers, but in any missing child case involving a left behind parent, it's very difficult. You don't know where their mindset's at.
I worry about the kids. I mean, that's mom. Mom comes in and says, "Come with me." Wow, the conflict that they're facing.
Yes, and you also have to remember a lot of people, and I believe in a lot of cases, people say, well, I don't think they will physically hurt their child. But you got to remember there's a lot of emotional aspects involved in this. You are removing children that are school age away from their families that they've been with for numerous years, away from their friends. You're removing them out of school. So there's going to be a lot of emotional damage that's occurring. It may not be, I am going to kill my child, but think of all that damage. They have to maybe sometimes take under another identity, change their appearance, ask to go by a different name. And so it's like traveling around as gypsies in this unknown world, and that's the cruelty towards children.
Now, yesterday I talked with her dad, and he was telling me that 2 of the kids do have their cell phones with them, but they haven't had any pings yet. Our investigators obviously looking for that and trying to find that.
You know, we're always looking for new technology and pings such as that, but we don't know why that's happening. Did she take them away from them? A lot of times parents will know, and not just in this case, in other cases that kids have that sort of technology. Will they take it away? Or sometimes will they put the fear in the children of what would happen, that if they tried to do something? You don't understand the psyche of that parent and what they're telling their child. And unfortunately, older children, sometimes children in their young teenage years, they tell them some horrible things about the parents that they've been living with, and that does a lot of damage.
All right, so for people that are out there who may be in situations where they're worried, maybe a former parent might come and get the kids, what do you tell your kids? How do you prepare them? What do you say to them so if something should happen and the spouse comes up and tries to take them?
Right. We're dealing with people who have been married and people who have not been married. Whether you've been married or not and you have a child, you must have a very detailed custody plan. And that must mean extensive paperwork. You need to have visitation or custody set within those custody papers. And you also must include a paragraph that says that if something happens, that law enforcement has the right to intervene in any state. But then you must have a conversation with the children that if for some reason your other parent shows up, you're not supposed to go along with them, and kind of explain why. There's a reason why children are placed with specific parents, and there's a right way for the left behind parent to do this. That means go to court. If situations have changed in their life where they now feel that they're entitled to visitation, then they need to handle that in the court system, not taking the children and running and trying to deal with it themselves.
Kelly Bailiff, you're always a pleasure to have on. Great information, empowering us to be on guard for the situation and know what to do if it should happen. Thanks so much for coming.